Good morning, Buffalo. You're tuned into the Eastside Parkways Coalition Radio Hour. Well, now the Eastside Parkways Coalition Radio Half Hour, where we talk about public spaces that connect and heal us, and we'll reflect on who we are as a community. I'm Indy Walton. I'm joined here today by Steve. The rest of our team is in Washington, D.C. today, receiving the Olmsted President's Award for all of the wonderful work that we have done to restore Humboldt Parkway, reconnect our park system, because as you know, Buffalo, New York is Olmsted's greatest vision, a city that is located within a park and not the opposite. Good morning, Steve. How are you today?
Good. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome.
I'm usually behind the scenes.
Steve is normally behind the camera, and today we have him front and center, right onto a mic. Now, today's topic is protecting people and parks. So joining us from Boston on the phone lines are going to be Pamela and Melissa of Franklin Park Defenders. So Franklin Park is in Boston, Massachusetts, and there's a new stadium that's being built, and Pamela and Melissa have been on the front lines of preventing their billionaire stadium owners from taking over public space, and they are a fellow recipient of the Olmsted Presidential Award. Melissa and Pamela, are you with us?
Yes. Good morning. We're here.
Good morning. How are you? And congratulations on your award.
Thank you so much. We're still in D.C. at the moment, but we found a space to kind of step away from the conference and be able to speak with you guys and your community and say congratulations to you guys as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a great honor to meet you guys and to share our connected stories.
That's awesome, and congratulations again, and thank you as well. Thank you for joining us this morning. Can you just tell us a little bit about Franklin Park and tell us a little bit of backstory about how you both became involved in this movement?
Okay, I'll start. This is Melissa, and I had the great honor of meeting Pam and other advocates for the park, like Louis Elisa, who is one of our elder statesmen here in Boston, who started the Franklin Park Coalition many years ago to help preserve a very much neglected park. Frederick Law Olmsted built the Emerald Necklace to encircle Boston, and the Franklin Park was designed as the emerald in the necklace. And unfortunately, because of busing and white flight, the park that's surrounded primarily by environmental justice communities became neglected because of the mayors just didn't want to fund maintaining the park. So that the neglect for that park has gone on for many decades. Only recently were we asked by the city finally how we wanted to envision rehabilitating our park into making it a more beautifully maintained and open space for everyone. So Pam and I and Louis Lisa and other advocates got involved in the Franklin Park Action Plan, which started about 4 years ago. We attended meetings. It was a very positive experience because the community was asked what we wanted to see happen. And then suddenly the action plan went dark for about a year, and we didn't know what was happening. We had spent all this money and time developing a plan, and then suddenly didn't hear anything from the mayor's office. Then one day the mayor decided to have a press conference, and she announced that she had decided to partner with a private sports team, women's soccer team, that was, yes, you can see where this is going, that was funded by 4 billionaires, very wealthy investors, and they presented to us that they were going to partner with this sports team and rebuild White Stadium, which is a school children's stadium. It's meant for the high school kids to use. It had been neglected for many, many decades. and they were going to rebuild it with this partnership. And at first, we were open to listening and seeing what their plan was. But as we met and as we saw the plan develop, well, told to us rather, we were just amazed at how poorly planned this was, how it would have incredible negative impacts in our community, create transportation problems, parking issues, additional pollution from 135 shuttle buses that would be coming in and out of the park to transport sports fans into the park. And we realized it would just absolutely destroy the peace and tranquility of Franklin Park. So we got together and we started talking, and we formed a grassroots coalition, and now we're embroiled in the actual lawsuit and this is new for all of us. We're just, community members. And it's been an eye-opener on how even in the most, quote-unquote, progressive city, in the most progressive state, you can still have people not listen to you. And it's been really, like I said, it's been an education.
And that's the reason why, I feel comfortable saying that it is political, but it's not a political action or movement, because Michelle Wu is one of the mayors in this country that I admire, and I think that is proof that capital a lot of times speaks as loudly as people. But in the words of my uncle, Bernie Sanders, the way to defeat organized money is with organized people. And it looks like that is what you've been doing in Boston. And I'm so proud of y'all and the way that you're working. And I mean, it's just like, we have elected officials who are champions of some issues, but when they're wrong, and we have to be willing to stand up to any and everybody who's not on the side of the people and the needs of the community, no matter where they come from or how great they are on some things. Pamela, good morning.
India, good morning.
How are you?
I wanted to also add stuff. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Let's hear from you.
Well, I just wanted to add something, right, because you stated that Michelle Wu was one of the mayors that you looked up to and you admired. And I think the issue that we're seeing in Boston is that a lot of black and brown residents look up to her and admire her as well, right? But that's because they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the facts about what it is to have representation for your community. So the mayor is great at giving you a piece, a quarter, a small piece of the pie, and our people of color don't realize they can have the entire pie.
Oh, say that. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah, we've been given a small piece of the pie, and we need to realize that we can have the entire pie if that's what we want. And we just need to fight for it. And I hear this all the time in my community from black people saying, oh, Mayor Wu, she's for the black people. No, she's not. No, she's not. And honestly, I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but what they are trying to do at Franklin Park and the people that it is going to affect are black and brown people. So they need to wake up.
And deserve a voice in all of this. So talk to us a little bit about your organizing effort. How did you bring community to the table to have these discussions and really stand up and fight for what you all want in Boston?
It was all about networking. So I serve on another community base. It's like a civic engagement, a civic association in the neighborhood of Mattapan. So Mattapan is another section of Boston, another neighborhood, and that's where I live. And I serve on the Greater Mattapan Neighborhood Council. And but we only advocate for things that's happening and things that's coming up in our community in Mattapan. And so I met Melissa from other friends that we both had who kind of connected us and said, you know what, this is something you might be interested in. Because I am an avid walker, I walk Franklin Park 5 days a week, and I love the peace at Franklin Park. And when I heard about what the mayor was trying to build at the park, I was very frustrated, because if you drive around or walk around the outskirts of Franklin Park, you will see it's a very, very busy city. Mm-hmm. But once you get inside Franklin Park, there is so much peace. You don't hear a sound. You don't hear a car honking. You don't hear anything but nature. Mm-hmm. And so when I heard that, my peacefulness journey in the mornings may get disrupted because of other activities that is going to start to develop at the park, I wanted to stand up for that, because Franklin Park is the largest public park in Boston, and I wanted to make sure that it remains that way. And if there was anybody that was going to make any type of profit off of that property, that it comes back to my community. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there are 4 communities surrounding Franklin Park. That's how large it is. You have Mattapan, you have Dorchester, you have Roxbury, and you have Jamaica Plain. And Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan are predominantly black and brown communities. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to get into this fight to stand up for my people and my community.
Here. Thank you for sharing that. And again, right, like, Black people deserve peace too. We deserve peace. We deserve green space. We've spent a lot of time on this show talking about the health disparities of this highway being put in the middle of our community and what we can do about it. But we've also talked about the vision for a future where we are healthier, where we have access to green space, where there are trees in our neighborhood. Hopefully one day you'll get to visit Buffalo. I've been to Boston before. Another inspiration from your neck of the woods is Dudley Street and the Community Land Trust movement. So, I think there are lots of parallels, but now I just want to shout out Miss Betty Jean Grant, who's joining us and is streaming on Facebook Live. So if you have any questions, comments, or anything to offer, you can share that there. But I'm going to kick it over to Steve to see if you have any questions.
Yeah, we in Buffalo are experiencing the racism and also the failure of over a century of the vision of Frederick Law Olmsted. As you know, he was a really strong abolitionist. That you're experiencing that same thing with the Emerald Necklace in Boston. Can you talk about any of the other communities? Because we're two glaring examples of something that is happening all over the country. Can you talk about that?
I'll just say that, Boston, unfortunately, I'm originally from Delaware, and when I moved to Boston, I was just kind of shocked at the overt racism in our community. I'm a white woman. I live in Jamaica Plain, which is the more affluent of the neighborhoods. What I have seen about this project in particular is how the politicians and these investors have used their platform to continue to divide our communities, and that's really shocking to me. Instead of coming to our communities and asking us what we wanted to see, because we knew that White Stadium needed to be renovated, okay? It was neglected, and it was for the kids. And if they had come to us and said, what do you see? And that's kind of what they did with the action plan. But when it came to the White Stadium project, because money was at stake, they basically used this as an opportunity to continue to divide us. And then that is really disheartening. I voted for Mayor Wu the first time. I thought she did a great job as far as the national politics are concerned. But when it came to actually engaging the community, which is what she keeps saying she did, it was shocking to me because she didn't. And in fact, what we found was they were trying to make this, they continued to try to divide our communities, which is already divided on race lines, unfortunately. So anyway, But our coalition, our grassroots organization, is rebuilding that bridge. We see this as an opportunity for us all to get together and learn from one another and to demand better, because Massachusetts has one of the first environmental protection laws on the books, and they say that the environmental justice communities deserve more, not less, community input. And what we found is that they're ignoring that law, and that's why we decided to sue the city and to demand that the state take action to protect our open space.
And this is Pamela. I just wanted to add also, because I think Steve mentioned or asked if we had any other parkland experience that's similar to this. Well, we don't have any other parkland that's similar, but I can say this. There is a park in downtown Boston called the Boston Commons. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have heard of it.
Oh, yes, I've been there.
Okay, you have. Okay. So the way in which they roll out programs, the way in which they develop things in that park, like they have a skating rink that's still public. They turn it into an ice skating rink in the wintertime, right? They are putting programs into the park that community members in that area, in that district, want to see. And what they did in Roxbury at Franklin Park is come in with a plan made up for us. Mm-hmm. We were not allowed to give input. And one thing I'll also add is the mayor continues to say that they've had 60-plus meetings with the community for engagement. And what I will say to you, and you can fact check this, they may have had 60 meetings, but they had these engagement meetings after telling us that this is the plan. That is not community engagement. You don't bring a plan to a community. You ask the community what they want to see, and then coordinate with the community to build a plan. And so that's the difference there.
And that is the truth. That is the truth. And all the way in Boston, y'all are experiencing the same thing that we experienced here in Buffalo. The plan was already written. It was sold that was the only option that we had, and some people bought into it. And then the people who said that, no, this isn't right, you should have talked to us first, were villainized and became the enemy and the obstructionists to progress, when it's like we all want progress, but we want it done in ways that are going to benefit our community, and not only benefit our community, but also correct the wrongs of the past that we've been dealing with for generations, with some of the highest asthma rates in the country, with some of the highest mortality rates in the country. So this is about justice, and I think that you both make a good point. When we talk about racial justice, you cannot address racism if you have not addressed the economic impacts that racism have had on our communities, and the environmental impacts that those decisions have made on our communities. And in order to correct those, if you are for racial justice, then you must also be for economic justice and environmental justice. And I'm in a class right now in school, and I'm talking about the difference between equality and equity, because there is a difference, right? And sometimes you have to give a little bit more to people who have gone so long without. So I definitely appreciate all of the work that y'all are doing in Boston. I hope that we can make some connections, maybe do some learning exchanges. I never mind a trip up to Boston. And congratulations again on your award, and enjoy DC, and thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
Yes. Thank you, India. We really appreciate you hosting us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And keep up the great fight.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't know any other way. You are tuned in to the Eastside Parkway's Coalition Radio Now half hour, and guess what? It looks like we're going to be what was once an idea that was 10 weeks for us will now be extended to 52. So you'll get to hear me every Saturday morning for the next year here on WUFO 6.5, Power 96.5, every Saturday morning from 11:30 to 12. And normally I'm joined by my colleague Candace Moppins and Brad Wells, but they are in D.C. receiving an award on our behalf. Congrats to Eastside Parkways Coalition and all of us. And big shout out to the Pilates Lab, our sponsor for the week. So if we're going for 52 weeks, that means somebody got to pay these bills. And this week it is the Pilates Lab located at 168 Allen Street. The Pilates Lab has been in operation in Buffalo, New York since 2002. It features state-of-the-art equipment, professional teachers. My favorite is Beth Wells, who makes sure that I'm strong in my core and limber in my limbs. So check out the Pilates Lab at 168 Allen Street. And until next week, keep the peace and protect our parkways.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Into the mic.
Those who want to sponsor Eastside Parkways Coalition, you can call India, your number, or Brad to sign on to be a sponsor.
You can visit eastsideparkwayscoalition.org, or you can email me at india@indiawalton.com, and all of the world has my phone number. So, yeah, call me.